everyone, my name is Kamlesh, and in this video we will look into the second type of data structure, which is lists. Now lists are different from atomic vectors, the one that we saw in our previous video, because their elements can be of any type. Okay, so they could be a logical, they could be a numerical, they could be a text, they could be anything. So a text, when I said text, it's character. So we construct list by using list function instead of C, which we used with a combined function, which we used in case of our atomic vectors. So we will just create a list in this particular piece of code where I have a list. I am putting in numbers, a text, some logical vectors, and then a combination of numbers as well. So let's just run it, and here I can see I have got a list of 4, which is having a integer vector as well, a character, some logical vectors, and a number. So if I just like to check the structure here, I can look into the same structure here as well, the one that we saw in the environment. Now lists are sometimes called recursive vectors also, because a list can contain other lists. This makes them fundamentally different from atomic vectors. So we will try to create one recursive vector. So here, without any values, I'm just giving a list inside a list inside a list till 3 levels. So I will just run this, and then I will just try to look into the structure of X. Now when I so one thing to inform is that the earlier X has been X variable X list has been overwritten now, and you can look into the structure here as well, and I'll just check whether it is recursive or not. So we do a test as is recursive here, and that says true. Now when we say recursive ones, we can just do it in another way as well. So here I have a list which consists of a list of one number and another as well, which is considered for another list. So I just create this particular X as a list. Now this gets again overwritten here, so the earlier one has been overwritten now, and this is a list of two, the which is a number 1 and number 2, and then we have another one where we have 3 and 4 as a number. So I just try to look into the structure, the same structure I get here as well. Then I try to create a Y as a list, and here I've just combined two different ones, and here we can look into the difference of what has happened. So in the earlier one, I created a list where I inserted a list first in X, and then a numeric vector, okay, which is also called as a double as type. Now in case of Y as a list, I have put in a list 1, 2, 3, and 4 as numbers, and I have combined them all. So now this show me as 4 numbers. Now lists can be tested as is.list command. Also lists are used to make many other complicated data structures in R. For example, both data frames and linear models outputs, both of them are lists. So data frames are also in the heterogeneous type, is something which we saw in our earlier video of data structures. So now here I just check if in the earlier video we also looked into a library named as data sets, where we get default data sets in our base R environment. So I don't need to pull that library again, because if you look in here, this should be already ticked up. So that means it is already loaded in the environment. But still, I just wanted to see if it is a list or not. So I'll just do is.list air passengers. I just run it, and I look into it as if it is showing as false. So this is actually a data frame. Now I also look into another data set, which is empty cars, and I see that it is true. So let us look into their different structures as what they are and why one is a data frame whereas another one is a list. So empty cars is a list, okay, and air passengers is okay. It will take some time to load in. We're just trying to load air passengers data set. Yeah. So air passengers is a list. Sorry, air passengers is not a list, and empty cars is a list. So we look into these two data structures which are saved in the default version. So here I just try to create a small linear model where I'm saying that the miles per gallon for a vehicle, this is coming from the empty cars data set which we are looking in here, and we have miles per gallon as a column here. So miles per gallon, I can predict the miles per gallon using the weight of that particular model of car. So I just run this, and then I will just try to check if this the output that is coming out is a list or not. And yes, it is a list. And we can also look into the details. So it gives me two different coefficients having an intercept and a weight, and we will look into the details of linear modeling in coming chapters and work, but in the coming videos as well. But what I wanted to see here is that how a linear model is also a list, because it consists of different types, be it numbers, characters, coefficients, decimals, also a formula is what we see here. So because it has many different types, it is used, it is saved as a list. So that's it for this video of lists as a data structure. uh, we will look into the next video for matrices and arrays as our next data structure video. Thank you everyone.